Well, amazing atheist, since you asked, I do have two cop stories to share with you. I have no idea which one came first, so I'll talk about what I think to be the most boring one first. First is about my first, don't you love how I'm using first so many times? And so far, only arrest. It was a Friday and also my brother's birthday. I came home and took off my pants like I always do when I come home from a long and trying day. Apparently, that was the wrong thing to do, because some of my brother's friends were over for the party. At that point, every one of my brother's friends had seen me that way, and they didn't complain about it until a member of my family did, especially my mother. Anyway, my mom threw copious amounts of very loud criticism my way, and I was getting very upset at this point. So I did what I was told to do, by my mom, mind you, in this situation, which was to remove myself from it. I went upstairs to calm down by listening to music on my mom's computer, which was the only computer in the house at the time. No more than 2 minutes later, my mom stormed in, yelled obscenities at me, and struck me. I walked to my room with tears already beginning to form under my eyes. Not because of the strike, but because I was so saddened by my belief that my mother was out to get someone, and I was the unlucky bastard she happened to pick. I went to my room, buried my face in my pillow, and bawled like a baby. During this time, I usually break down the situation and figure out if I should apologize or not for what I did. I examined my day, which was by all accounts terrible, my actions during the situation, which were not all that unreasonable, and the actions of others during the situation, which were cruel and unethical. The more I thought about these things, the angrier I got. Eventually, I was so angry I punched a hole in my bedroom wall. As if she was waiting for something like this to happen, my mother immediately stormed into my room. When I say immediately, I mean I didn't hear any footsteps coming to my door at all, and declared that she wasn't done with me. By this time, I had almost had enough, and when I have had enough, I get violence. I didn't want to hurt my mom, so I kindly asked her through my tears to leave, or I might hurt her. My mom instantly saw this as grounds for my arrest, so she told my brother to call the cops on me. I waited patiently for them to arrive, and by the time that they did, I was calm enough to explain my side of the story coherently. Two cops showed up, and to make a long story short, they put me under arrest. I was ushered to the police car and handcuffed. By the way, who the hell designed those handcuffs? They're all one piece, with no chain in the middle. It feels as if they were made of buttered sandpaper. Anyway, I was put into the back seat. Now, in my district, the back seat of the standard cop car is completely separated from the front by a metal barrier with solid plastic windows. The car's model made the back of the front seats hang over the legs of whoever is in the back seat. Since I live in Stupid Town, the barrier is completely straight, so there is just about no leg room in the back seat. If a person had hooves for feet, that person wouldn't be able to fit their hooves on the floor of that back seat. So I had to lie down in the back seat. The cop shows that I watch. What the? The cop shows that I watch are way off. I thought I would be Mirandized before I even got in the cop car. Instead, I had to acknowledge my rights in written form. By written form, I mean that I was given a piece of paper that had a list of my Miranda rights in the form of questions with checkboxes next to them, and at the bottom I had to sign my name twice. I also had no idea that paperwork took so long. I was in the only occupied holding cell for 45 minutes. I had a hunch that my arrest interrupted the station's nightly coffee and donut party. On my way back to the car, I asked if the cop could loosen my handcuffs, which were making my hands feel as if they were full of sand. What was I thinking? Of course he said no. I was taken over to what I thought to be a courthouse, where the cop gave the clerk my passport to jail. On my way to juvenile hall, since I was 17 at the time, I asked the cop what I was being arrested for. He read the statement that my mom gave to the police before reciting two crimes: $500 of damage and a verbal threat. I had no idea that a person could be arrested on two of the most bogus charges ever conceived. My parents have threatened me plenty of times, and when I was 16, I called the police about it. But the 911 operator gave me a lecture about misusing a 911 service. When I threatened one person one time, I was arrested for it. How unfair and unjust is that? Second, $500 worth of damage? How could you arrest someone for that? I'd accept the arrest if I destroyed a few $1,000s worth of property, because after all, that's pretty bad. But $500? That's nothing. It's easily replaceable by anyone that can afford to live almost anywhere in this country. I'll discuss what happened during my time in jail in a later video because I want to make time for my second cop story. So if you want to hear about the shit I went through there, you'll have to wait. The second cop story is about my dad's questioning. It was about 9 a.m. when the bullhorn went off. I was asleep before then because it was summer and therefore I didn't have school that day. Anyway, the cop with the bullhorn ordered that my dad come out with his hands on his head, and then, almost as if to purposely contradict that statement, the same cop assured my dad that he had not done anything wrong. Because you know that sometimes when a cop shows up, everything is fine. Now, my bedroom is at the front of the house, so I was the only one who was hearing this. So I got dressed, because who wants to see me naked? Woke my dad up, who jumped out of bed as if it was on fire, and went downstairs to let the cops swarm in before they had a chance to break the door down. Two of the cops that went in charged upstairs to rudely wake my brothers up, while the other two stayed downstairs and watched me and my dad like hawks watched a carcass. The cops didn't stop me from going to the front door, and when I got there I knew why. Police cruisers were parked bumper to bumper as far down the street as I could see. I asked one of the cops at the front door why they came there, and she told me what could hardly justify that much police activity. My dad had missed a court date that no one in my family knew about. I let out my rage at this by asking the other cop a bunch of stupid questions. My favorite was, have you ever run into a mini turret during a raid like this? Anyway, after they all left, I called my mom about this. She wanted to talk to my dad, and I somehow managed to keep her from doing so for a while until my lies began to contradict one another, and I handed the phone to my father out of embarrassment. I don't know what happened to me that day. I'm usually a better liar than that. Maybe I was still nervous from being in the same room as a cop. Maybe I was a little mad at my dad for missing his court date. I don't know. Whatever.